Good evening, chat. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. Merry Christmas. And yeah, if you guys don't have anywhere to go tonight, we'll be hanging out for a little while. We're going to cover this, and then I think we're going to head over to the model channel and hang out and do some model stuff after this. And I'm not really sure what we're going to do over there, but we're going to figure something out. But we'll come up with something. We'll come up with a game plan. I just don't know what it is yet. But yes, for right now, we are going to kind of talk a little bit about the tale of, this came to me from Ag Biochemist set this in, the Christmas lawyer, the Christmas attorney, which this guy sounds a bit kooky in his own right. Like, this guy's now suing like the Idaho State Bar Association. But this is a very interesting story. It's a very interesting story. And there's a bit of a lawsuit we're going to get to, and we're going to take a look at it here. And before we get too far, Anonymous for $50 says, breaking news, Sean. Shots fired at Nakatomi Plaza. Potential hostage situation in the making. Yes, I heard about this. Potentially men speaking German have shown up at the Nakatomi Plaza in beautiful LA and have taken many hostages at the top floor. It's my understanding that Christmas party there tonight for the Nakatomi Corporation. So Godspeed, everybody, and I hope the FBI is on its way to resolve that hostage crisis. So good luck to everyone out there. Good luck to everyone out there. Santa only comes when you're asleep. That sounds really bad when you phrase it like that. Descenti is chaff and flares on the NORAD tracker. No, he actually uses the quails. Yeah, it's like the B-52s where they had the little decoys they would launch out and they would fly along. That's how they do it. Peens or Cole going Clyde stalking. Anyone watching Kino's recent of JF eating the century egg? Some guy in cancer, good to see you, man. He's saying, fuck HOAs. You know, that's not really... I think that kind of goes without saying. Yes, HOAs have given themselves a bad reputation. Luke saying, hey, Chad, it's Chris this afternoon here. I'm roasting a duck and also about to do a lamb rack for dinner. Oh, wow. That'll be good. That'll be good. And Kathy, your realtor in Jersey. Kathy, I hope you're doing well. I hope you saw... we tried to answer your comment last night before you left, so I hope you saw it. I just wanted to make sure. Todd says, Sean, have you no family? I do. I spent Tuesday night with my family, and then later next week, we will go see 2.0's family. So for right now, we spent the afternoon together, and now we're hanging out a little bit. But Todd, you're here too. What does that say about you? Oh. Yes. Scheiße de Fenster. Carl, schießen de Fenster. What? Shoot the glass. Does Santa avoid Israel? I would hope so. I would hope so. Todd says, shut up. Getting ready to wrap to the rest of the kids' presents. Well, there you go. Good stuff. Luft says, we don't have homeowners associations in Scotland. I'm fascinated by the concept. I only hear bad about them. Are they any good considering they're another tax to pay each month? So at times they can be. HOAs, much like zoning laws, if they're doing certain things, certainly they can have benefits. One of the things is it keeps your neighbors from doing retarded shit that ruins your neighborhood. But the problem is with HOAs, they never stay to that simple concept. HOAs eventually grow until they get really retarded. For example, where my parents live, the HOAs involved said you couldn't have a truck parked outside in your driveway. So if you owned a pickup truck, which my dad did for quite a while, he had a Tacoma, he had to park that in the garage. Why? Because they said so. Well, what does that do with anything? I don't know. I understand the idea of like if you have a work truck or something like that, they didn't want those in the community sitting in the driveway, but it's still kind of retarded. But my dad didn't work. My dad was retired, so they're like, still can't have it out. Very, very, very retarded. Very retarded. There's just a bunch of different things HOAs do that they get out of hand. There are times where you may have common areas, like there's pools, or somebody has to maintain your roads because you may not be part of the city has annexed your road network. So you have to take care of that, take care of the sewers. You may have to plow your own roads. Like there's some things where an HOA might make some sense, but for the most part, yeah, HOAs are kind of out of control. The reason why a lot of HOAs exist is when a farmer sells his land to a developer, they put in CCRs, covenants, creeds, and restrictions, and that's so the farmer could say, I don't want all kinds of crazy shit going on the property next to my house. And that's kind of the leftover of it. Franklin D. Esquire says, I love the X-Files. They had an HOA episode. Yeah, they had like the HOA episode with like they had a monster that the HOA used to attack people who were in violation. It was interesting. Yeah, and the increases never stop. That's the thing. The increases never stop. The scope and power of them is always expanding. So there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with HOAs. I don't recommend them, but yeah, I don't recommend them at all. Was the monster named Karen? I actually don't know what the monster was named, but I remember it was like a monster and it was like brake fluid blood or motor oil blood. It was weird. I remember seeing it. I remember seeing that episode. I remember seeing it. Yeah, HOAs are like your town councils if you're in Europe on property and building laws. They are, but remember, even here in America, you may have an HOA, but you still have then your city zoning ordinances. You may even just have like county building codes, all kinds of stuff out there. All kinds of stuff out there. Devony Doombringer says an HOA wouldn't let my homeowner or my in-laws get central air. Well, yeah. There's, like I said, there's times where zoning laws and things like that do have a purpose. It's so your neighbor doesn't build a fucking concrete factory next to your house. It's so your neighbor doesn't park his collection of, engineless IROC Camaros in the front yard as they rust apart. That's what it's meant for. It's meant for. Kathy says the state of New Jersey regulates HOAs, and it depends on state to state. Yeah, lots of them are in condos. Yeah, if you have a condo, you're going to be part of an HOA. Yeah, a lot of that. Clyde is working at Vivek's HQ. If that's the case, he's not allowed home. If he did that, he would not be allowed in chat. I would tell him, keep walking, Clyde. We are not redeemed here. We do not redeem at this house. Otto says IROCs are cool. Yeah, but they're, if you're collecting them in your front yard, that's not cool. Your neighbors don't want that. Engineless IROC Camaros add value to a neighborhood. No, they do not. Dolly says, I used a monkey filter and got pissed. No one told me at the end of the meeting. Oh, no. That's funny. That's funny. Pete Warble says, I should be able to paint my house whatever cunt I want, even bright orange. But see, that's that HOAs, we all agree we're not doing retarded shit like that. We're not going to drive down property values. Thomas Fitzpatrick says, I thought this was America. It is. And in America, you have the freedom to contract. And if you signed up for an agreement with an HOA, guess what? You contracted freely. You contracted freely. Now, what are we getting into here? Well, we're going to get into what's going on in West Hayden, Idaho. That's right. Idaho, not Udaho. But your mom is a hoe. And in Idaho, in West Hayden, Idaho, there is an attorney. His name's Jeremy Morris. If you Google him, dude's doing some crazy, crazy shit. Anyway, Jeremy is a big Christmas guy. He's a very big Christmas guy. They owned their house previously in Idaho, and when they moved, they took their tradition of keeping all the lights on their house going and all the stuff they did. Now, Christmas was a big old freaking deal. Christmas was a big old deal for Jeremy Morris. And Jeremy liked to celebrate 'tis the season, as, you know, to be jolly. And from here, Jeremy liked to celebrate, and he was all about Christmas lights. So, for example, this is a picture of his house. Like, this is a bit stylized, but I mean, he'd light up the trees. He'd light up his house, and an even better picture. This is his house, just his house. That's just his house. Just his house. That's what he does here. Think about it. That's a lot of lights. And that isn't even all of them. And what he does invites the community over. There's caroling. They do all kinds of neat stuff. He had a cotton candy machine. He would invite everybody over. Let's hang out. Let's have fun. Brought the community together and did all of that in a way to encourage everybody to come over. And it was something everybody really, really, really liked. And it sounds pretty cool. Sounds wholesome. I don't really see a problem with it. He did it at his previous house as well. But the people, sounds fun as long as you're my neighbor. Yeah, I'm sure if you live right next to it, yeah, is it probably kind of like not fun? Yeah, maybe. But is it the worst thing in the world? Yeah. But from here, what does it show? And what do we do with it? What do we do with this? Well, how was it? Well, we have some clips of this. And if you guys go over here to YouTube, you could find Jeremy's channel. Jeremy has a channel kind of documenting all the stuff.
I am the only American.
Documenting all the stuff he was dealing with. He's known as a Christmas lawyer because he is an attorney. But this is actually kind of important here. This kind of shows you just overall, but as things were kicking off in the lawsuit, and obviously we talked about a lawsuit, here we go. This is, people would come by, they would do caroling, and you can just see there's a lot of people involved in this. And you can see there's people caroling, having a great time. They have, you can see the little picture thingies back here, the lights. Like, Santa's there. You kids can get a picture with Santa. They've got, the wise men with the camel. I don't think they let you ride the camel, but he really gets into the Christmas spirit. And it's pretty freaking cool. I'd rather this than a guy getting pissed about my lawn. Yeah, I mean, overall, given what we're dealing with, this doesn't sound too bad. Debony says, this is so great for the neighborhood. Well, that's where it becomes an issue. Like, think about it. If you're hanging out, if it's your house and you're next door, okay, once in a while is it going to be an issue. But is it going to be something you want to do every night? And if it's a couple nights in a row, do you really want to do it? I don't know here. But it becomes an issue of what are we doing here? And it's a war on Christmas a little bit, but I think you can also argue here, is this a bit much? I think that's just something where, did the neighbors go up to him? Did anybody actually talk? This is where, if somebody's doing something and you think, okay, well, maybe this is a bit much, it's where you go knock on their door and say, hey, neighbor, can we work something out? Now, he might tell you to go kick rocks. Or he might say, hey, yeah, you know what? What can we do? I don't know. But you know what? You have to try that. You have to try that. If your first option is running to the HOA, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, and it's going to cause a problem, I would argue. And I don't think it would be a good idea. But we are there. And potentially Grinch. Yeah, you could be like, don't be a Grinch on this one. But yeah, there are all kinds of lights where, they tune them to music and the lights just bounce around. Like, we've seen all those. You see those like every year. But this is just what's going on. Miss Snotty says it's like 300 people. Yeah, it's quite a few. It's quite a few. And a couple nights a year, it's like, yeah, that could be a lot. That could be a lot. But let's just see what happens with the rest of this. You can see a little more here. So anyways, they bring busloads of people out to come visit. They have carolers that come out, and it's Idaho. You get a lot of snow, and it's a winter wonderland. Well, Jeremy ended up having problems, and he ended up having to file lawsuits over this. He ended up filing lawsuits over all of this. Plot twist, the neighbors are Jewish, or the neighbors are Jehovah's Witnesses. They're like, or Assemblies of God. No, but here is what happened. Here's what happened. Here's where we go to this. This is where things get interesting. Jeremy's an attorney, so he represents himself, which, is that the best idea? Not so much always, but, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. But here we go. Here we go with what's going to be filed here. And it is the plaintiff's complaint, and they want relief. So what is he doing? He's suing the West Hayden Homeowners Association. And this is his HOA. The West Hayden Addition Homeowners Association in Idaho Corporation. So it's Jeremy. Sorry, guys. I need to fix the line there. We're kind of doing it wrong. This is Jeremy Morris and Christy Morris versus the West Hayden Estates. Joe Don Baker is Mittens. Now, what happens from here? So he says the plaintiffs, they bring this civil action for a couple different things here, guys. And you want to know what they're bringing it under? They're bringing it under 42 USC 3601, 3604, and 3617 under the Fair Housing Act. That's under federal law. That brings them right into federal court. It's a federal question. I mean, they are coming right into this and swinging hard for the fences. They're also suing under the Idaho Human Rights Act for discrimination issues. And they say, as alleged more below, they claim the board unlawfully discriminated against the Morrises based on their religion. And they said that Jeremy and Christy Morris made an offer to purchase a home for the purpose of hosting an annual Christmas program. You're like, okay, base. Immediately after making the offer, the Morrises contacted the board to discuss the annual Christmas program. Now, this is where it becomes an issue. Like, they bought the home for the purpose of hosting a Christmas program. Why aren't they buying the home for the purpose of living there? It's like, well, are these the people you really want to be doing this? I don't know. Is that really what you want? Yeah. So rather than meeting with the Morrises, the HOA responded by composing a certified letter saying the Christmas show is offensive to non-Christians in the neighborhood. I don't know how many non-Christians there are in, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, because this is right outside of Coeur d'Alene. Like, how many of them are up there? I don't think too many. They also threaten litigation, which they can threaten litigation all they want. The board also circulated a second letter containing false statements to every member of the neighborhood in an effort to dissuade the Morrises from going through with their home purchases. Now that becomes a problem. that becomes a problem here. Tim Pool is saying, I increasingly hating this guy. Fuck him in his dumb house. Well, that becomes an issue. You're like, oh, that sounds pretty good. But now we're like, the facts start changing everything. The facts start changing stuff a little bit here. The Morrises also learned that the HOA contacted the sellers prior to the closing. The HOA told the sellers a letter had been sent to the Morrises because the HOA did not want their beliefs pressed on others. So now they're interfering with the sale of the home. And it's like, now they're really starting to screw around. And it says the HOA fostered a hostile atmosphere, resulting in such episodes, including one neighbor threatening to have them murdered, another neighbor pounding a cane into the pavement many times at an annual members meeting, shouting demands for them to get the hell out, which, oh no, they told him get the hell out. It's like, okay, that one's not a problem. The guy threatening to murder them, okay, that is, yeah, you can't do that. But somebody just saying, oh, you can't get out, shaking your finger at them. Like, no. That you can't do that. Threatening Facebook posts, including one is recently saying the Morrises should be prepared to stock up on weapons at the local gun show. I mean, this is the thing I'll say. When people do this and they go through with everything, like, nobody ever threatens you. But what do they do with this? So they go forward, and obviously you shouldn't threaten people. But, how credible were these threats? We don't know if it was. Who knows? They said, despite informing of all this, the board did nothing to de-escalate the hostile atmosphere. And yeah, you think you could argue they started doing this at this point. But, what was going on? So they argue these violate the Fair House, for some reason, that, font thing there. But they violate the Fair Housing Act. They also violate the Idaho Human Rights Act. And what do they want to do? They want a trial by jury. So they start talking about, yeah, that's a big leap to the get out of here. The one guy says, I'm going to kill you. The next guy goes, get out. It's like, yeah, which one's the problem here? Which one was the problem? All right. So jurisdiction, it's a subject matter jurisdiction because it's under federal law. That's where we're going. And I think that's always correct. We're stuck with that. That's what we're doing. And I think that's proper. You can't do anything about it. If Santa's attacking the drug boats, why are they doing that? All right, here. What was I looking for? I think I missed something here I wanted to find. Okay. Stop, guys. Okay, so yeah, from here. All right, real quick, we do have some things here. Hi, Dolly. I saw you in chat. Real quick, we do have some stuff here. Jim Cox has been here for 22 months. Thank you for the support, Jim. Says communities are a bad idea. It's a give and a take. Are you, like I said, HOAs can, and, restrictions can be good because, like I said, you don't want your neighbor setting up a concrete factory in his yard. You don't want them tanning deer hides and horse hides next to you on an industrial scale. You don't want them making a formaldehyde factory next to your house. So there are benefits to it. But yes, they can become overly burdensome at times. Thank you for support, Jim. Kat, but not Kat Williams. Good to see you, Kat. Hope you're doing well. Gifting 5 subs. Thank you. And I don't know, Kat, if you saw it, but after Fannie Willis had her little thing in front of the Georgia Senate, one of the judges she talked crap about, I don't know if you aired the hearing, but he asked those prosecutors, are you guys getting paid in cash for your bonuses? just to really go after Prosecutor Willis. Another gifting 5 subs. Thank you for your support, your generosity. Otto gifting 5 subs. Thank you, Otto. And EDW Raptor gifting 5 subs. Guys, it gets you, which woo for the Christmas year. Getting you ready with Clyde. We're getting ready for Christmas. Amon Rezu. Woo. That's, yes. Iman Rezu for 5 subs. Oh, wow. Afton for 10. Answer Iconoclast for 1. EDW Raptor for 5 more. And Analytical T for 10 more subs. Thank you guys for your support, your generosity. I truly appreciate it. It's Sweet Tooth Fairy. It's been a member 32 months. Time flies. Time flies. It's been 3 years doing this. Yes, happy Christmas, blessings to all. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. Truly, everybody, wish you all the best for your Christmas, regardless of who you are, what you're doing, what's going on in your life. And as Counting Crows said, if it's been a long December, for some people, it's been a really long December. It's been a rough December. It's been a rough year. And sometimes that happens. But there's always the hope that this year will be better than last. So just, the hope of a new year and the promise of a new year is coming. Not only is, the birth of Jesus something that we're here to celebrate, but the new year, the promise of the new year is here for all of us. It comes for everyone. So if you're having a rough time, just remember it's a new year. A new year is coming. A new year is coming for everybody. This year was wild. Yeah, for a lot of people, it was wild. A lot of people, it was wild in one way or another. It's very, very interesting. We are not. EDW, stop co-signing stuff for me. I appreciate it. You bet this guy plays that Mariah Carey Christmas song 20 times a day. I mean, maybe he does. I don't know. That's just so funny. Oh, it's your gift to Clyde. Well, thank you very much. Clyde is such a good dog. Where was that? I missed it. Dodged for life, Vawas. Yeah, well, until you aren't. But thank you, Afton, for that. I know Clyde, if he could, he would appreciate it. But he goes, I eat treats. He's a dog who eats treats, and they go from there. Who are messaging me? So let's keep going. Here, chat. That is perfect. Let's keep doing this. Well, Stars are saying, I can't believe how many you hate this guy. Well, are you talking about the guy in the thing or me? I'm not sure where we're going, but it all depends. I mean, if you had to live by this every year, that would suck. And I can see that sucking. So anyways, I talk about the parties. These people reside in Kootenai County. Remember, that's up at Coeur d'Alene area. Mr. and Mrs. Morris are the agreed persons. And all times relevant, the West Hayden Estates is the HOA. And it has about 50 houses in it. And you can tell it's kind of like out there on the edge of town. It's not like Yellowstone-style ranches with like 100 acres on them. But it looks like 5 to 10 acre plots. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of a normal thing here. EDW, like, we'll go all night, guys. I'm just saying, like, I appreciate that, but I didn't say anything, so I don't like co-signing onto something if I haven't said anything. I'd rather live next to this guy than a lot of other people, too. I think so as well, but yeah. And Garrett says 100-acre ranches. Well, for a lot of people, 100 acres is a lot of land. And that's most land that most people have, so... yeah, Kathy, we're gonna get to all of what happens here because it's a very interesting story and how this goes. So the HOA board was vested the authority to make decisions. And anyways, Jeremy and Christy have been married and lived in Idaho since 2013. And then in 2014, with the help of Candlelight Christian Fellowship, they held their first annual Hayden Christmas program in the driveway of the home they were renting in Hayden, Idaho. The purpose of the Christmas program was to spread the gospel and love of Jesus Christ to the community by raising funds for local charities that aid children suffering from homelessness or cancer. Like, pretty based, pretty wholesome, pretty based and pretty wholesome. In 2014, they contacted a realtor to purchase a home for the express purpose of continuing their annual program. And it's like, okay, this becomes an issue. Like, you bought the house looking to go, that's kind of where I have an issue with this. Like, you're buying the house not necessarily to have a house for your family. Like, I want this house so I can do... I don't know about that. I don't know about that, guys. Hold on here. So, and notice, guys, we get to the things I mentioned before. Covenants, creeds, and restrictions. And creeds are, like a creed, a promise. Covenants, creeds, restrictions, CCRs. Not clear. Clearance, Clearwater Revival. And they say, having determined there is no prohibition against their Christmas programs, they entered into a contract with the sellers for the purchase of the home for $315,000, which that doesn't look a bad price for Idaho for the land, given what Idaho's real estate prices are now. It's like, ooh. And then January 2015, they contacted the estates. So inform him he had entered into a contract for the purchase of the home, which, yeah, it kind of makes, you do that. That he would be hosting an annual event from 6 to 8 p.m. for 5 days. Anonymous says he bought it for the storage for all the lights. And it's like, yeah, but you can basically buy somewhere and build a barn for that. That's not really the issue. During the phone call, Morris offered suggestions to and here's the problem, though, too, I would point out, Anonymous. When you are the one writing the complaint, you can style it however you want. And this is just sloppy because it sounds like you're buying the house just to fuck around. This is where, once again, if you're writing it, bring it up in a way that makes sense. During the phone call, they offered suggestions to minimize any disruptions in the neighborhood that may result, but not limited to utilizing buses to avoid traffic congestion, which that is very thoughtful. Morris also pointed out there are no rules in the CCRs to prevent him from hosting the program, but he wanted to be cordial and encourage members of the HOA to take part in the festivities if they wanted to. Their current Redfin estimate is $750K. Ooh, oh, wow! Yeah, that's the beauty of real estate. It's a beauty of real estate. Anna Wall says buses are loud. Yeah, but they're not that loud. It's not like it's a tank rolling down the street. So, they wanted to present their plan, and she set up a meeting for the purpose. He was advised to be called to the meeting, and they said they held the meeting, several days later, but they refused to call Morris into the meeting. And they said that the president stated the board was furious and would not meet or speak with him. They were furious. They were upset. Roar. Yeah. Mr. Morris informed Miss Scott that she'd be proceeding with the purchase of the home, as there was no rule against hosting a Christmas fundraiser, putting out Christmas lights, or any other relevant prohibition in the covenants or restrictions, according to numerous attorneys that Mr. Morris had consulted. And you're like, okay. He received a certified letter referencing litigation. Yes, and once again, this is one of those deals where just saying we're looking at litigation, well, you better do something about it, because if you don't back it up, it's a hollow threat. It's a hollow threat. The letter stated in part, and finally, I am somewhat hesitant in bringing up the fact that some of our residents are non-Christians or of another faith. I mean, which, like, what? I don't even want to think of the problems that could bring up. Like, really? Like, okay. The letter also mentioned a fear the Morris County Christmas show could bring undesirables to the neighborhood. And the reason why they bring this up is they used to live next to a Walmart, and they did it, and they were worried that it's going to bring all the bums and drug addicts and weird people, that they were dealing with from before. It's just ridiculous. So real quick, guys, here is the Zillow on the, or the Redfin on this. Woo, it's actually kind of nice. I like it. It looks good on the outside. I don't know about the color, but hey, we all have our own we can like colors if we want. I like the trees. Those trees are beautiful. God, this place would be bad if there's a forest fire, but these trees, like, oh yeah, that's a beautiful yard. House is shaded. I like the blue, but that blue, like, have accent walls. I don't know about the whole. Yeah. That's also weird that your like dining room is in the, or if this is a sitting room, I don't know. That's a weird place to have a room like that, but I don't know. Yeah, carpet. Yeah, but you know what? You deal with. This house was built, I'm sure that, but that's just a weird place to have like a formal dining room is out front like that. I don't know. I do like the little office here. That's kind of nice. As long as the fireplace actually works, that'd be nice. For a nice little roaring fire going. Maybe a little bathroom. I'm going back to the same room again. Oh, upstairs, yeah. Wow, the little dance studio. The chair rail is a nice touch. It is. Yeah, these aren't too bad. A nice little master suite, and then nice backyard. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's like I said. I said like 5 to 6 acres without even actually checking. I assumed it was pretty close. So I called a chat. How many acres is this SOB? How many acres is this? It's only half acre. That is a big half acre. That's a big half acre. So 60 Shades of Gray master bedroom, the red, yeah. Hold on, chat. It's okay. It's not a bad house. I think it's something to look at. Now, getting on to the lawsuit again, and this lawsuit's pretty short. Notice no corner shares. Cat, this is master suite. Tis. It's the primary suite. Yes. So they contacted the HOA and they expressed concerns about the letter. And they admitted, Mrs. Scott admitted during the conversation that the HOA indeed engaged in discrimination against the Morris family. Yes. So the Scotts, the person in charge of the board, yeah. It's like, well, the HOA president admitted, yeah, we indeed engaged in discrimination, which, boom, that lawsuit writes itself, chat. That lawsuit writes itself. It's perfect at that point. They admit to it. And their pastor said not to move the home. In another conversation, the HOA president explained that when drafting the letter, it was originally written as a greater emphasize religious objections to our Christmas program. She stated it was worse before the letter was toned down, which, yes, oops. That's a big oopsie. That's a huge oopsie. You can't, that's no good. Oh, there's it's just a little yeah, you never admit to this stuff. Remember, guys, always, Robert Barnes is right. Always in cash, never in writing. So later on, they were informed by the sellers that the HOA had drafted a letter in the Christmas program and was walking that letter around the neighborhood. So that letter they admitted was discriminatory. They were walking it around the neighborhood. The seller stated she believed she was required to share the existence of the letter because the sellers did not want anything to hinder the sale of the house. Well, guess what? Who's hindering the sale of the house? Yes, no self-snitching, to also quote Bruce Rivers. Yes, don't tell on yourself. She stated the letter being distributed to all the neighbors did not paint the Christmas show in the best light, which I don't know how you can paint a Christmas show in a bad light, but okay. They're trying. They're trying real hard. She also relayed conversations she had with other neighbors, including a realtor who shared the belief the Morris family was being discouraged from buying a house in the neighborhood. Well, we already have them admitting to doing it. And then during this same recorded conversation, they recorded it. They recorded it, guys. Come on now. The seller informed the buyers that the HOA contacted the sellers to notify them of the earlier letter. The seller stated the HOA told her the HOA did not want Morris to the buyers to press their beliefs on others in the neighborhood. Which this is where I'm surprised there isn't a statement in here where they want him to tell him to torpedo the deal. Well, the seller stated that the way the HOA president described it, it sounded pretty prejudiced against the Christian religion. And it's like, well, we already know that. And that just reinforces that, this HOA president can say, I didn't say that. Well, it sounds like you did because everybody else seems to think you were being discriminatory. So it's like, you really answered the question yourself. You're like, wow. Good job out there, buddy. Good job. I have not seen Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. No, I have not. She stated that from the way the president described it sounded pretty prejudiced. The seller also stated she did not want the actions of the HOA to deter the sale because they had difficulty in finding a buyer in the amount of time the house had sat on the market. Yeah, this is a literal crusade. I'm back on the side of the Morrises at this point. The letter described by the seller was delivered to the Morrises. The letter contained numerous false details and called for an emergency meeting on to vote on whether the event should take place. Jeremy Morris and his acting attorney, Richard Mass of the nonprofit Liberty Council, a Florida-based religious organization, Liberty Organization. Am I not being a contrarian tonight? Yeah. Yes, this is correct. Are you taking notes on your criminal conspiracy?
Nigga, is you taking notes on a criminal fucking conspiracy? What the fuck is you thinking, man?
Much. It's not a criminal conspiracy, but yes, they are taking notes on their conspiracy. It is just absolutely insane. Did I watch Tom Clancy's Santa Strike Force when he was a kid? Is that a real thing? No, I've never heard of that. That would be hilarious. It was mailed to every member of the HOA so as to correct the knowingly false allegations. So they made their own letter. The emergency meeting was held. Mr. and Mrs. Morris were not in attendance because they were not yet members of the HOA, nor were they invited. And at least 3 of the future neighbors, as well as the sellers, were informed Mr. Jeremy. No action was taken in the meeting. After several people voiced concerns, the board had acted recklessly in regard to making the religion part of the discussion. So it tells you when everybody else is just like, whoa, I think you're like way out of bounds here. You shouldn't do this. Once again, that's a hint. So the Morrises closed on their home in March. They received no contact from the HOA until October of 2015. So months go by. 7 months go by. In October, they received a demand letter from an attorney stating that the Christmas charity fundraiser will be offensive to the census. Well, yeah, that's not really going to work. What attorney wrote that letter? I don't know. The demand letter asserted that if within 10 days, the Christmas lights covering the home were not removed, and if a statement were not made canceling the program, the HOA would take legal action. Well, it's one of those deals where you're like, do it or else. And the problem when you write these letters is, or else what? So the blind are offended they can't see the lights. So the Morris contacted attorneys at his time who concluded no provisions implicated the program. The HOA was likely using concerns about traffic as a pretext to discriminate against the Morris family's decision to use the property to spread their Christian faith. Shanty Claus. I can't believe the HOA is this stupid. A lot of people, this is the problem. People are stupid. In October, he contacted Fox News, brilliant plan, about the ongoing efforts. On October 24th, following a national news story and interviews by ABC, NBC, CBS, Huffington Post, Salon.com, USA Today, and numerous other outlets, the HOA told the media it would not be pursuing legal claims against the family. And you're like, wow. Well, that can be considered waiver. You have now waived claims. And then in December, the Morris held the program. Several attempts by members to interfere include a videotaped death threat by one neighbor, coordinated efforts calling the sheriff's deputies for illegally parked vehicles on side streets, and documented examples of neighbors using foul language in the presence of children. So they went ahead and they sought the aid of the Intermountain Fair Housing Council, which is a nonprofit of some sort. And they said that the actions taken by the HOA are discriminatory. They stated that due to the funding issues, the Fair Housing Council was focused on larger companies like property managers who manage a lot of properties because there's a lot of money going after those people. There's a lot of money going after those guys. And it says following Christmas, in 2016, there was a letter circulated. So a year later, to every resident, that children, what did they allege? That kids were peeing in the snow. Oh, no, they were making yellow snow, chat. The letter also alleged the street was blocked despite video taken during the program that contradicted the claim. Mr. Morris confronted the HOA president about that. The incoming president, a guy named Ron Taylor, told Morris the HOA's failed attempt to stop the program through legal action was not taken on the basis of rule violations, but rather because some in the association don't like Christmas. Once again, why would you say this stuff? Talk through your lawyers. The neighbor, one of their neighbors, explained in a recorded interview that she spoke with the HOA president and asked what they violated. The former president admitted no CCRs were violated. She asked why was it then a lawyer was hired and legal action threatened to stop the Christmas program. Angie was told because they didn't want it in their neighborhood. So this becomes a fiduciary issue because the HOA spent money on a lawyer, and it becomes a problem there. I think that's something, these people spent money on a lawyer when they clearly didn't need it. And that's HOA funds. And those funds are collected from everybody. And that's something that needs to be addressed there. And then Amon Rezu for 5 more subs. Thank you for your support. Kitchen Knife Rescue. Taking care of those kitchen knives. Hope you're working on something fun tonight. Member for 19 months. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it very, very much. Guys, I appreciate, once again, everybody being here. Big frickin' support tonight, chat. Big support. Big support. EDW Raptor with 1, 2, 3, 4 subs. Thank you. Dolly Talk. Dolly, good to see you, man, guys. Dolly doing kind of the, different courtrooms that are going live during the week, during the mornings. Well, actually, it's very mornings for him, but it's kind of like midday for a lot of people everywhere else. But Dolly, yes, give him a look if you guys are looking for something to do during the day. Gifty 1 sub. Benjamin Lewis has been a member for 23 months. Thank you for that. It's a long time. Says Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas to one and all. Another, quoting a CCR song. Yes, Someday Never Comes. Although I'm not gonna lie, I like the Someday Never Comes version by the Forest Rangers on Sons of Anarchy. They actually do a pretty good job of that one. So they do a pretty good cover. Robert Lawrence with 5 subs. The Razor's Edge, thank you for being here for 1 sub. A Cat, not Williams, gifting 1 sub. Thank you, Cat. And guys, if you do get the chance, take a look. Cat does good work over on her channel out there. Gooner says sniff. Cat says you can go on pirate trips in Dolly's chat. That sounds like fun. And yes, Maddie, it's at Dolly Talk. Let's see here. Yes, ew for the doggos, yes. What needs to be addressed is the lack of Clyde appearances. Well, Clyde is with 2.0 right now. And they're having fun. Boosh, Merry Christmas to you too. Yes, and we have, the not in their backyards are the NIMBYs. A very common problem. A very common problem are the NIMBYs. Green Caps, where are you out here? Green Caps. I did want to say Green Caps, thank you again for your tip over on Locals. I truly appreciate it. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you so much for your support. I do appreciate it. Didn't want you to forget there. All right, so sadly, I'm not Cat, not Dennings. Funny. So they go on to December of 2016. So look, we go from February to December of 2016. Like a whole amount of time goes by. Whole year. They hosted their second Christmas program. On the same day, a threat was posted on the event page that the Morrises should stock up on guns at a local gun show. Based, owning guns is never wrong. Besides Second Amendment. The threat was reported to the sheriffs. That threat was later provided to the incoming president of the HOA, and nothing happened. The second year of these shows, members of the HOA, including members of the board, interfered by throwing snowballs at buses, pretending to be hit by a bus while fake plowing the road at 8 p.m. without the plow running, boarding a bus and yelling at riders, and trespassing. This one sounds really dangerous because you're going to hop on a bus and start screaming at people. Man, that's not a good idea, man. That's how Daniel Penny steps up and takes care of business. And it says the HOA engaged in disparate treatment by not enforcing provisions of the CCRs against other members with clear violations. And that is a problem with HOAs. If you don't do everything according to the rules, then you can't enforce it against everybody. That is actually a thing. Not like the government where they don't arrest everybody speeding. When it comes to CCRs, you have to go after everyone. And in our HOA, they had to change the rules that fences could only be 4 feet high. But a bunch of people put up 6 foot tall fences. So, and nothing was going on about it. Well, they had to amend the rules for the HOA. So, yeah, that was the interesting thing here. It's very interesting how they do it. Shugi Show Live. It's been a member for 12 months. Thank you for being here, Shugi. Says late and wonder how late Sean was. No, I was on time. Thank you for asking. Jamie Moodley's been a member for 17 months. Says Merry Christmas. I miss my summer Christmas in South America or South Africa. I'm not sure. Really anywhere in south of the equator. Yeah, that's got to be kind of neat having these summer Christmases. It's got to be neat. At least I think it'd be neat to experience it once or twice. Ag Biochemist for $14.88. Says Merry Christmas, Sean, and the chat. Yes. No, thank you, Ag. I appreciate the support. And real quick, Erica for $99.99. Thank you, Erica, for your support. I appreciate it. Said, let's freaking go! Merry Christmas, everybody. Yes, it's Christmas Eve, chat. Let's go. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas. And instead of Freebird, guys, should we do Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You as like the song instead? To do the subs too instead of Freebird? Is that what you guys want? I don't know. I can do it if you want. Hold on, chat. Let's get it going here. Oh. Oh. Let's get some sobs.
There is just one thing I need. I don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. I just want you for my own, more than you could ever know. Make my wish come true. All I want.
Let's go, chat. EDW Raptor for 10 sobs. Let's go. Let's go. That's right, chat. Do it. We got the Freebird's got nothing on us. Amateur Iconoclast for 1 sub. Anime Exceptionalism for 5 subs. Cat, not Williams, for 1 sub. Stephen Cooper for 5 subs. Can we hit it, chat? Can we hit the Christmas spirit? All right, I'm sorry. I don't want to make you guys suffer anymore. EDW Raptor for 1 sub. Oh. All right, guys. That's Otto for 5 more. Dashing for 5 more subs. I guess you guys want it. We got to go back to it, chat. All right, we're going to leave that alone. All right. Boosh says still would. Well, yeah. Play Christmas Eve in Sarajevo next. You got to do Feed the World for a subscription. All you want for Christmas is earplugs. Oh, wait. Hold on. Dickie Allen and Nick Nocturnal did a cover of this. All I Want for Christmas is Deathcore. Oh, that'd be funny. That would be hilarious. Iman Resident says this is Christmas. It is Christmas. All right, guys. Enough of the goofy stuff. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to this lawsuit here. It's very funny. Boosh, I gotta catch up on everything. A bunch of people did a bunch of stuff here. Amateur Iconoclast, been a member for 24 months. Says Merry Christmas, y'all. Yes. And guys, tomorrow, starting about 9 or 10, we'll probably hang out. Like I said, 2.0 and I are having Christmas. We're having Christmas over a couple of days because, one of her presents got delayed and one of her presents is still in the process of getting completed. We're having a couple days of Christmas. And, we'll be working on clearing out the models and getting stuff cleaned up. So We'll be going for a while tomorrow, starting probably around 9 or 10 if you guys want to come hang out with us. It'll be over on the model channel, though. Because apparently I've tanked the algorithm on this channel unintentionally. So, Razor's Edge for $5 says, catching up. I live near a house that does this and it is hell in the neighborhood. Traffic's backed up, road blocked, cars in front of driveways. And that's the thing. I can see that. It can be a problem. It can be a big problem. You know, and you also, for $5 more, thank you. It says, the cars parking in your driveway and people walking into the house. I complained to the city the last 2 years and they haven't done anything about it. Well, I mean, if people park in your driveway, get them towed. You can tow them. It's your property. You could definitely do that. And then Boosh for $5 says, I wish you and yours well during this joyous holiday season. I do to you too. And I wish for everybody out there, regardless of who you are, I wish you all well. I wish you all peace. I wish you all joy for this season. Thank you. And it says, what's the difference between Santa and a good PIMP? What's the difference between Santa and a good pimp? Santa only has ho, ho, ho. Very funny. Very funny. Thank you, Boosh. Thank you. Been there, done that's a new member. And then Erica Thorpe for $99.99 says, one more time for the people in back. Let's go, chat. Let's go. It is oh wow, thank you very much, Eric. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support and thank you for the generosity. But yes, big frickin' support tonight from you guys. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I don't know what I did is like, you know, for you guys to come around, but thank you so much. And yeah, this is couple of woos there. That gets you a couple of woos. Definitely. It took you forever to bypass the censor on that one. That makes sense. I was wondering, I'm like, wait, you can't say pimp in the filters? Wow. The biz end says, let's fucking go. Yeah, we're going to keep working here. Let's keep going on this. Thank you for being here, biz end. I owe you guys an all-night stream now. Well, we're going to go for a while. Green Cap says, check Safe House. Okay, real quick, and we'll do that. Yes, come for Sean, stay for the chat. Yeah, well, I've been told that is the... You guys are very much a... you guys are a feature within yourselves, and I respect that. I respect that. Let me see here. Green Caps. Again, man, thank you. You didn't have to, but thank you so much for on locals $100. Dropping that C note. Monster kill. Thank you, Green Caps. I appreciate the support, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys are going crazy out there tonight. Jeez. That's big freaking support. Let's go. I still think it's funny that somebody has that name on their thing. Garrett says, please don't come. Okay. We're not going to. Okay. Will Jeremy Hambley destroy the notorious Kiwi Farms? No, he won't. He will fail. But anyways, let's keep going, chat. We'll get to some other stuff here in a minute. We'll have a smoke and a joke in a minute. Boosh says, I'm being told I have to watch a movie. Merry Christmas, chat, and Sean. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, Boosh. Thank you for being here, man. Enjoy time with your family. Enjoy time with your family. Winter Soldier, what do you got here? Is that Jeremy peeking through the door and like The Shining? Oh. Yes. All right, guys. It is time to keep going here. All right. So the sellers told the buyers that massive football games were held for years prior to the sellers transferring the ownership of the home to the Morrises. So, like, one of the neighbors nearby was doing big football games. Sellers never received a single letter or any contact from the board of their time living at the residence for over 15 years. Former HOA member Angie confirmed that an audio recording in 2016, the HOA never expressed concern about the massive traffic caused by the football parties. And think about it, football season's almost 6 months long. Basically from September all the way through to the beginning of February. It's crazy. Crazy how that works out, doesn't it? Several members maintain more dogs than they're permitted, which means it sounds like they probably have like sled dogs. These dogs are walked daily through the neighborhood in full view without fear of violation, despite their clear prohibition. And this is what you have to do when you're dealing with these problems. You have to pick and go after these people with the same fury, the same way. That's how you do this. What else are people not doing? The people that are coming after us. What aren't they doing? Other members installed shops, so they're running businesses. They have asphalt driveways. They have copper dormers in violation of the rules without any intervention. Yeah, and that's how you get these people. That's how you get them. Violating the rules without any intervention or being held accountable. So what's the first cause of action? The Fair Housing Act. Well, under federal law, you cannot discriminate against any person in the terms, conditions, privileges, or sale or rental of a dwelling or in the provision of services or facilities because of race, color, religion, sex, familial status, or national origin. Housing discrimination is a real thing. And they violated the Fair Housing Act by discriminating against their beliefs. And notice, under the threat of litigation, they did this, trying to keep the sellers from selling the property to them. And they create a hostile living environment in an effort to keep them from continuing to live there. You know, they create a hostile environment by doing a lot of things here. Under the Fair Housing Act, well, Dash should say walking dogs. No, but let's say the HOA says you're only allowed to have 2 dogs and a bunch of people have 4 dogs. Well, you know what? If you're going to pick on the rules, you pick back and you pick on every rule that's not being done and you hold them to those rules. This is Alinsky style tactics. You hold your enemy to the same rule set because if you hold your enemy to their own rules, they can't work that way. HOAs hate ham operators. Yes, because amateur radio antennas are exempt. Yes. Yep. The HOA create a hostile living environment by engaging neighbors through letters and unofficial meetings. Yep. And here's the thing. Under the Fair Housing Act, you are not allowed to make, print, publish, or cause to be made, print, or publish any notice, statement, or advertisement with respect to the dwellings that indicate any preference, limitation, or discrimination based on, among other things, religion. So you can't tell people, don't sell to the Jews, don't sell to the Christians, don't sell to the Muslims. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. And they printed a form in the form of a certified letter which stated a preference for non-religious homeowners. Whoa. Whoa. Another says, does the Fair Housing Act come out of rent control? No. Fair Housing Act is part of the Great Society, like all the reforms in the 60s with the Civil Rights Movement, which, yeah, this is... they had a discriminatory effort there, yes. Violations of the Idaho Civil Rights Codes. The unlawful discrimination in interfering with the privileges of a real estate transaction. They also printed and posted and circulated the statements in an attempt to limit or discriminate. Fair housing, yes, that's the thing. Fair housing has insane. The Fair Housing Act's like the Americans with Disabilities Act. Oh man, if you get caught doing housing discrimination, man, you are gonna get hurt bad. the damages in those housing discrimination cases are rough. Also, chat, don't do this. Also, you don't need to have that. Tighten it up and then move on to the next page. Although, if you tighten it up, this paragraph probably comes up. So, it's unlawful to coerce, intimidate, threaten, or interfere with the enjoyment of any right under the Fair Housing Act. These letters threatening litigation during a real estate transaction that reference the impact of a Christian holiday to be celebrated is any use in there. The use of words. I don't even want to think about the problems that could bring up or words intended to intimidate. The defendant interfered with the transactions by contacting the sellers and attempted to keep them from selling the house. And guys, remember, that's already happened in different ways, but you can do it under different provisions of the Fair Housing Act. You could violate it 4 or 5 different ways. You plead out every violation. The defendant also interfered with the exercise and enjoyment of the property rights upon completing the sale. The plaintiffs have constantly lived in fear. Are they really in fear? Keeping their doors locked at all times. Most people keep their doors locked at all times. And obtain concealed carry permits for protection. You're in Idaho, buddy. Yes, you should carry a gun. So what do they want to do? They want to be de-annexed from the HOA. That is a nuclear option to be removed. Requiring the defendant to attend training in fair housing and anti-discrimination. They also want compensatory damages to be paid. For a lot of things here. Punitive damages for $250,000. They want costs and attorney's fees and any other relief. So, yes, Roscoe is saying, are bat houses exempt? Generally speaking, if you put something up for an endangered species, yeah, you can't take it. They can't make you take it down. Now, there might be a situation where you could, but like for these guys, the Morrises, they put up a bat house or they put up a house for the, bird house for the ring-tailed doofus. And let's say it's an endangered species. They can't be taking it down at that point. Yes. Protected species can be exempt. Yeah. Generally speaking, they are. Now, notice, chat, this is 2017. This got filed. January 2017. This went to trial in 2018. And here's the verdict of what happened at trial. Here's the verdict here. The jury unanimously finds, and here's the verdicts. These are beautiful. Did they prove that the HOA intentionally discriminated against them in part due to their religion during the purchase? Yes. Second question. Did they prove there was intentional discrimination, at least in part due to their religion, after the purchase of the home? Yes. Vince McMahon style. Yes. From then, did they prove by preponderance of the evidence that the letter, the HOA's letter, expressed in the mind of an ordinary reader a preference of non-religious individuals purchasing the home? Yes. Oh. They also, another claim. Did they prove the HOA threatened, intimidated, or interfered with the purchase and enjoyment of their home? Yes. A federal jury sided. Yes. Just shutting them out. If the jury answered yes to 1, 2, 3, or 4, notice 1, 2, 3, or 4. You don't have to answer yes to all. What damages do they prove and what do they suffer? So at this time, they got 60 and 70, 15. So they got $75K in damages. And the jury said based on the, they're done. And that's what they did. They came up with it. So they won $75K. Now from here, things got a little different. The court got involved and there was a motion for a new trial. and a motion for a judgment notwithstanding the verdict. So the court got involved here. Now, the issues that come here, because remember, Jeremy, they won, so they wanted to be de-annexed. So there were 3 motions before the court. The de-annexation, there was a motion for a judgment as a matter of law, meaning judge throughout the verdict. And the Homeowners Association's motion to strike the affidavits of multiple people. So here's what happened. The court grants the homeowner's motion for a judgment as a matter of law. And the motion for de-annexation removal from the HOA got denied. So the court goes through this, and he talks about the judgment as a matter of law. And the court says here, you know, looking at this, the jury got it wrong. So the court went through this, and they decide that they say an ordinary reader would not interpret the letter to be discriminating. We're not done yet, chat. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. So they go through all that. They also point out to different things that happened here. And they're like, it wasn't as bad as you thought it was. They said that the HOA was unfairly prejudiced by the admission of ultimately stricken evidence regarding the threats from the fellow homeowners. Really right in front of my clippings. So the judge goes through it. He just starts shooting things down here. They claim failed to sufficient proof on their Fair Housing Act claims. And ultimately, the court goes through all of this, and it comes up with what it's ordering here. So what does the court ultimately order here? Do we have exhibits 2 and 17 to read? I was not able to get those. Pacer was fighting me, so I pulled these off Court Listener. So, yeah, this is... So here's what happens. The motion for judgment of the matter of law is granted. The motion for a new trial is granted. So there's remitter. The court's going to go through and does remitter saying, I'm modifying the award. The plaintiffs will accept compensatory and punitive damages in a combined amount of $4. Plaintiffs may alternatively elect to proceed to a new trial. So the motions to strike the affidavits got denied, and the de-annexation got denied. The plaintiffs, now here's where it gets going, chat. The plaintiffs are permanently enjoined from hosting a Christmas program at the West Hayden Estates of violence of CCRs as described in this decision. Plaintiffs are ordered to pay the HOA's attorney's fees stemming from the prosecution of their counterclaims. And there was a countersuit that got filed. And this federal judge went against them. Yeah, it wasn't a violation, though. I agree. So this judge did this. This got appealed up to the Ninth Circuit, and the Ninth Circuit upheld it. And eventually, there was... it got to the Supreme Court. Jeremy Morris sought a petition for certiorari. Now, this was getting submitted. There was going to be things that were done. And Tim, you're bringing up something here. Judges should be fired if they have to overrule juries. No, because a jury could get it wrong. If they have the power to fix it before a jury. Yeah, but you don't know. Judges generally don't like to do that because they want the jury to come to the right conclusion. That's something courts would rather a jury do, is come to the correct conclusion, because that's the job of a jury, is to rule on a case. So in this situation, it did not end from here. As things went, there is a positive settlement here, guys. Some good news happened ultimately. Yes, did the judge say, well, actually... Well, yeah. So anyway, what happened? Well, the Christmas lawyer used settlement with the homeowners association and more holiday decorations. So an Idaho lawyer who's said this, he settled during mediation, and it got set back for mediation, you guys, because we'll go through here. This is the court thing. By April 2019, the court made a ruling. And if we go all the way through this case, look how long this goes here. Nothing happens, nothing happens. Then later on this year, it got dismissed. And it's now officially over. So he says that this year's decorations, and notice, he's back to doing it. The HOA and them have worked out an agreement, it sounds like. And the HOA ended up paying more money for even, he settled for money. And yeah, as it's gone on. But anyways, he said he used the settlement money. He's using his settlement money. And yes, he said the settlement was more than the jury verdict, which is really ridiculous. But hey, apparently it happened. He's using the settlement money to buy a lot of Christmas lights. He says, well, the family owns the home. They've since moved east due to death threats. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine any of those neighbors are actually scary in suburban Idaho. It's like, I'm going to kill you. It's like, please try. And then nobody will ever screw with me again after I kill you. Yes. The guy grifted. He grifted well. Yes. But yes, he's going to have camels and choirs and 14 Christmas trees in an indoor winter wonderland. So remember, that's, like he had before. He had camels, he had choirs, and he had a bunch of Christmas trees, had all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm sure that they backed down because they realized this was looking bad. Or they didn't have enough money to continue. I don't know. But they did go to mediation to resolve this. So that is the saga of the Christmas attorney battling his HOA and winning. Good news. So good news, chat, for everybody out there. Good news to everybody. Why not an ice rink? That's a liability because people are going to skate and get hurt. Then you got to buy skates and rent skates. And, when you have the ice rink out there, you're going to have to get a Zamboni, or you're going to have to kind of do like a squeegee with a hose attached to it and make your own little homemade Zamboni. And that's just, the ice is going to get uneven. You got to keep the skates sharpened. So that means you got to buy a skate sharpener, which is really just a grinder. And you got to sit there and, do that all day long. Nobody wants that. An ice rink's a lot of work. A lot of work. I've tried the ice rink angle before. No, when I was a kid, my dad, my brother and I used to play hockey, and my dad, my mom had a guarded, and, my dad had it set up. So it was it had built up a little bit of a berm around it to help, just retain water in it. And, when it came every year for, the winter, we would flood it and we would skate on it. It was a lot of fun. Kathy is saying, can this be used as a precedent to overturn fair housing? No, because this supported the Fair Housing Act. Okay, so remember, this is just a case at the district court level. The Court of Appeals, the Ninth Circuit, was only saying the judge was right to overturn everything. So no, you wouldn't. This necessarily won't change the Fair Housing Act. You're going to need go to Supreme Court to do that. And the Supreme Court is not going to overturn the Fair Housing Act. I can tell you that much. So, if you have a giant HOA rule book, you don't want to do that. If it's a little thing, but it's, what does it look like when you buy, how big is their rule book? Yeah. Skating rinks created Matt Petgrave. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The lawyer and the Grinch judge could have a cute meeting in a Lifetime movie, or it's in the Hallmark Channel. A lawsuit for Christmas. Christmas lawsuit. Oh, Kathy, your realtor in Jersey, guys. If you're in New Jersey and you want to buy, sell, do whatever you want. Get a life estate subject to complete divestment. Life estate subject to a condition subsequent. Kathy is your person out there. Definitely want to do it. Kathy says, Merry Christmas, Sean, and everyone. Thank you, Kathy. And Kathy, like I said, I hope you were listening. I tried to make sure. I saw you said you were leaving. I tried to answer your question right away, so my apologies last night. But we did get to it, so I hoped, hope you got to hear your answer. And yes, Christmas lawfare. Yes. Kathy can help you navigate an HOA. She can. She knows what's good. She knows what's good. She knows what's good. She knows what's poppin', as the kids say. Let's see here. Where are we? EDW Raptor for $5 says, yes, this show is supported by, I wish I could say Porter Cable. Although I've heard their quality's kind of gone down a little bit, but still. Porter Cable, Delta Power Tools. My dad had a Delta cabinetry table, so he had a Delta cabinetry table saw. That thing was amazing. That thing was so cool. It's a show, and by viewers like you. The green caps lock, member 21 says, check Safe House. Thank you. Thank you so much, green caps. Again, I truly appreciate it. Do we have exhibits 2 and 17 to read? No, let me see if I can pull those up now. I think I have a chance to grab those from... I think I can get these on Pacer now. Let's see what these are. Let's see if we can find them. Pacer, logins, Idaho. We'll do this. We'll go on Pacer together, chat. So here we go. Query. Morris. Jeremy. There we go. Run query. Okay, let's try. I think this is him. Let's see what this is. No, but he is suing the Idaho State Bar. Like, this guy is suing a lot of people. Okay, here we go. Jeremy Morris versus West Hayden Estates. Docket report. Let's see here. Gary Myers says, Merry Christmas, chat. Base potentially criminal streaming on Christmas Eve. Yes, well, here for you guys. It's still a night. Tomorrow night's Thursday night, so we got a show to do. We got the show to do, chat. We got the show. All right, let's see here. Okay, so exhibit 4. We need a couple different exhibits. We need the HOA CCRs. Let's see what we can get here. We need the CCRs. We need the discriminatory letter. We need the letter to the family. Threats, social media, Fair Housing Authority. Blah, 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 blah. No, we don't need the rest of those. Let's pull up what we got here. Oh, chat. Some of these. Oh, wow. Making me run up my bill for Pacer. Why is this not working? Oh, come on. I guess we'll do it the old-fashioned way. All right. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so we need... There, we don't need all those. This is the problem when you have a bunch of exhibits on here. So 56 pages, $5.60. View selected. View documents. Oh, they're only charging me $37. Okay, nice. Or $33.70. Why is it not? Why are you being redunculous? Okay, here we go. Here we go, chat. All right. Here we go. Share screen. Okay, here are their CCRs. Here are their CCRs. Merry Christmas, Sean, in chat. There will be nothing but Factorio streams. Oh, we're not doing that. Yeah. I strike you as a closet Ryobi man. He'll claim Milwaukee, but he's green at heart. Green are my tractors. Roscoe, did you get your P.O. box today or yesterday? No, I did not. I've been busy running around. I can go tomorrow. I'll go pick something up if there's something there. Oh, let's see here. The show must go on, yes. Show us the unhinged jihadi letters. Well, here we go. Justin Haas says Pacers should be free. Oh my gosh, it should. 100% it should be free. DeWalt for the win? Not anymore. I mean, old DeWalt, yeah, but Newton, like DeWalt now? I don't know about that. DeWalt now is like not what it used to be. I'm just saying, chat. I'm not, it's like the meme goes, man. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Oh, so anyways, here we go. Let's see, what do we got here? This is the CC&Rs. The covenants, creeds, and restrictions. I got something for you to build. Okay, well, nothing like adding more to the shame. At least get a blue tractor like God. Oh, that's heresy. I would rather have a red tractor than a blue tractor, sir. A blue tractor is. You might as well just spit in God's face if you're driving a blue tractor. Let me tell you what. So rip when DeWalt was good. It was. Free meats paid for by the taxpayers, yeah. Stephen Cooper says, spoken like a Hilti man. Hilti doesn't. I remember when I was working for when I was doing sewer work, and we had to use one of those like brick cutting drills with like the big hole cutter attachment on it. It was a Hilti drill. Oh my gosh, that thing was like whomp through concrete and brick like nothing. It was so cool. Yes, blue tractors are all gay. No green tractors here. Buy red. Orange tractors for the win. Kubota, yeah. Or are you talking about like Mahindras? Are you going to do the morning stream tomorrow? Are you planning to do the regular Thursday night? Yes. We're going to do a regular Thursday night. We'll just be hanging out, though, because it's Christmas time. But we're going to, I hate to say it's going to sound like Dark Side Phil. I'm going to be taking a break. 2.0 and I are going to have dinner. So, Stabby says, I'm a Makita guy. Makita's got good stuff, man. My dad still has like Makita drills that are like 25 years old. Yeah, and they still run like awesome. So, Alice Chalmers. Yeah, Alice Chalmers are good. Oh, you're talking about, I don't know. Mahindras are orange too, or Kubotas. I wasn't sure if you were thinking of Alice Chalmers, but yeah, you could do that. Red or get the fuck out, yeah. So, yeah, well, I like John Deere. I remember in my town, like somebody was getting ready for their stuff at the fair, their tractor getting it ready, and he was working on, repainting his hitch and the hitch bar. And he got into a fight with his brother because his brother came over with a can of green paint. It was red, and he painted it green. It said, now it'll actually tow stuff. And they had a fight, and the guy swung the hitch bar at his brother and tried to kill him with it. It's a big deal, man. It's a big deal. Yeah. You have the NiCad DeWalts from 95. They kind of work. My dad has DeWalt drills that are corded or, he's got like older power tools like biscuit cutters, things like that. Old DeWalt stuff is like awesome. So farm all and IH. Yep. I love how they're like, why farm some when you can farm all? It's like, all right. Yep. International Harvester, yes, they're based because they made Garands. Yep. They are cool. So, let's see here. All right, chat. Let's get to these CCRs. So, here are the CCRs that we're dealing with. And this one's labeled a covenant, a condition, and restriction. Covenants, creeds, and restrictions. Covenant, conditions, restrictions, however you wish to call it. So it talks about the recitals, and this is where you start going. You know, the real property here. And, you know, this is the LLC, the HOA doing this, reciting things here. So what do they do? They intend to develop these all for single family lots. And they deem it desirable to establish covenants and restrictions on the property to make it to respect the proper use, occupancy, and enjoyment for everyone. And they go through, and this is, it's 45 pages long. They have conditions here. They talk about the purpose. There's declarations here about what they want to do. They have an architectural committee. They have assessments. They have all their definitions they come through. You know, and you have to define your terms. Just like Ryan and I were talking last night, you have to define all your terms and how that works. The power and duties of the association, what are their powers, their assessments, the right to enforce, their association rules, their emergency powers, licensings and rights of way. They can grant all those different things. They can grant licenses for easements. They have, different duties. They have to maintain the common areas. They have to have a reserve account. They have to pay the taxes and assessments. It's helping set up water and other utilities. They have insurance. Doing all kinds of things. These are all their obligations they have to do. They talk about single family designs. They have elevations, exterior appearances. Garages and parking. All guest vehicles shall be parked in driveways. Nobody on the side streets. Each home shall have a garage for 2 cars or more with a minimum of 7-foot door heights. All driveways are to be concrete or on concrete pavers. Notice they talked about asphalt driveways. You can't have those. Except larger lots on Block 4, lots 5 through 9, which may have asphalt paving, up to a minimum concrete apron in front of the garage. They talk about roofs. All homes shall have a pitched roof between a 612 and a 1012. All porches shall have a minimum roof pitch of 4. And they say otherwise approved by the architectural committee. All roofing materials shall be of fire-resistant material because forest fires are a problem there. But generally anyways. 25-year or better, 3D shingles. You must show a continuous shingled ridge vent. No exposed roof-mounted attic vents can be used. Overhangs must be similar. Like, they have all kinds of rules here, guys. No dwelling can be higher than 2 stories. You're going to thatch your roof? Yeah. I'm going to have a thatch roof, bish. But they go through all of this. They talk about garbage garbage cans. All garbage cans shall be kept around a corner in a screen, blocked so nobody can see it. All mail boxes are plastic or vinyl. All repairs shall conform to the original design of the thing. You can have temporary structures. Like, how do you do that? How do you do drainage? All of this here, this goes on and 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 on. How this all works. How you have animals for pet owners. What is it that you want to do here? The certified letter, though, from the HOA, this is kind of what we want to look at here. Patty F. says, Merry Christmas. Happy to be part of this family. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it, Patty. Hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas to you and your family. This is kind of the one I'm interested in, guys. The HOA letter. So once again, this is where you put down, you document your stuff. At least it's not on a letterhead. That's the one positive. There's no letterhead here, which kind of like, you're like, woo! You're like, that's a good thing, because that could have been really bad if there was an HOA letterhead. I'm like, well, geez, they really would have been screwed at that point. What happens from here? What happens from here? Well, let's get into this letter. Let's get into this letter chat and see how stupid it is. So, this says, Mr. Morris, I appreciate having had the opportunity to discuss your plans for buying the Brazil residence and giving the HOA and the plans of the activities you spend for the Christmas holidays. Sounds like a lot of hard work. And he says, I'm sorry to inform you, despite your pure motives, there are 3 sections of the CC&Rs that prohibit such a display. Under 5.41, under use and maintenance, the residence is not to be used for any purpose other than for single-family residential purposes. But notice he talks about other people have shops. And they say it's opinion of the board that a holiday festival of this magnitude, as well as what is demonstrated on YouTube, is well beyond normal residential use. Once again, this is where, while the HOA is in the wrong, notice the way Jeremy Morris talked about it. I bought this home so we could do more stuff. It's like, no, you should have bought the home because I need a place to live. And oh, by the way, I want to do more stuff. But notice how he phrased it in the complaint. It makes him sound like an idiot. Like, it sounds like these guys are colliding. And they say pertaining, section 5.42 is nuisances. They say that no exterior speakers, bells, whistles, or sound devices are permitted. Any noise that is offensive or interferes with the quiet enjoyment of any neighbor is also prohibited. That is a massive, that could be a lot of different things there. Could be a lot of different things here. They say section 5.415 pertains to lighting. Explains clearly that lighting shall be restrained in its design and excessive brightness shall be avoided. Okay, and it's funny because Jeremy, he does talk about some stuff here that you're like, he shows you and you're like, well, this is kind of sketch how they're doing stuff, how this, things here, because Jeremy drives around his neighborhood and he shows, you're like, wait, how does this all work? How does this all work here on his, how does this all work here in his town? Let me see here. Where is, hold on. I just had it. He had a video and it's like, you're like, how does this all work? Yeah. So this is a neighborhood. This is Jeremy in his neighborhood. And this is after he loses to, this is after the judge enjoins him. So here we go. Just watch this. Here we go, guys.
Filed against him. He agreed with him. Oh, yeah. My lights are excessively bright, even though that has nothing to do with Christmas lights. Well, but nonetheless, after the judge told me I could not have Christmas lights on my house, my neighbors decided, because they're spiteful, evil people, that they were going to all put up tons of Christmas lights so that my house is the only house that cannot have Christmas lights. So look at this. This is my immediate adjacent neighbor. And I want you to just look at this. This is the person that lives immediately next to me. Now, all of you in YouTube land and Facebook, you all know what my house did look like with lights that did not blink, that were not colorful, did not go to music. And here, this is my neighbor. And mind you, these are the people who told the court that under the rules, nobody can have excessively bright Christmas lights.
And I have the feeling the activities of the neighbors fostered the settlement where Jeremy got paid here. My cat's name is Karen, so I'm making tiramisu for Christmas dinner. Oh my God, that sounds so good. Tiramisu is amazing. But yeah, notice all this stuff is going on, and I think these neighbors were acting like idiots and ran up the score, and that gave him leverage to go after them. So anyways, brightness shall be avoided. Typical holiday lighting has been allowed, but it appears your design is in excess. Well, it looks like other people were in excess. And he says there are a high percentage of residents living here over the age of 70, and on several occasions each year, fire and ME&T have had to respond to our neighborhood for medical emergencies. The amount of traffic generated by your festivities, both vehicular as well as pedestrian, could very well inhibit. Notice, it could inhibit. They have no idea. They have no idea what's going to happen. They say snow removal is also a concern. Notice they don't actually know for sure. And then here it is, chat. Here is the thing. This is the dumbest thing you could do. Right here, chat. And finally, I am somewhat hesitant to bring up the fact some of our residents are non-Christians or in other faiths, and I don't even want to think of the problems that could bring up. Wow. Wow. Well, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. And it says it's not the intention of the board to discourage you from becoming part of our neighborhood, but we do not wish to become entwined in any expensive litigation to enforce long-standing rules and regulations and fill our neighborhood with the hundreds of people and possible undesirables. You know, we don't know what's going to happen yet. We don't know what's going to happen yet. Kay says, how is snow removal concerned? Well, if people are parking all along the streets, the snow plow doesn't have anywhere to go, and the snow can't get plowed anywhere. Yes, and J-Rock is correct. There's a reason you were hesitant. Yes, there's a reason you were hesitant because you realize it's a dumb idea. Kia Patrick says, they said it. They said those people. Yes, they did it. They said the word. They said the word. It says neighbors respect the CCRs and show common courtesy to those around them. These are the reasons why people want to live here. Okay, with the death threats? I don't know how that works, buddy, but okay. That just, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That doesn't make no sense to me. Oh, gosh, chat. Oh, gosh. All right. So now we're getting on the last little bit of this here. The last little bit. This is the HOA's first letter to all its members about the Morrises. David over at Making Ensemble. David, hope you're doing well. Says Sean, Merry Christmas. David, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. Kia Patrick says, that was one of the biggest things for my realtor course. Anything sounding discriminatory should be avoided at all costs. Yeah. Anything sounding discriminatory, you're like, nope. Yeah, any sort of those people's attracts attention, yeah. So here we go. Here's the letter that got sent around. To all residents, a potential issue has come to the board's attention. Really, it has? It's come to the board's attention? Okay. And we would like to keep all owners up to date. We feel it's important to hold an emergency meeting to give everyone the opportunity to voice their opinion and full understanding. A potential buyer is purchasing a home within a development. He has requested approval to hold a holiday event that will last 5 to 10 days during the month of December. This event was held in another development last year. And speaking with the gentleman, he has indicated the event will produce in excess of 900 vehicles traveling through the neighborhood with up to 80 volunteers directing traffic and such. He has indicated he will be using a speaker PA system from 6 to 9 nightly. Last year, he incorporated a camel and various other amenities to attract attention to his display. He encourages visitors to donate food and other items and that he delivers to 2 charities. Based. In the newspaper article that was provided in the spokesman review of the situation last year, he did not obtain the necessary permits for such an extravagant event, generating excessive traffic. His comment to the media was that this year he plans to create a much larger event. This is going to take place in our development. And he says, it's the board's opinion while we encourage holiday decorating and community participation, this type of event is in violation of our CCRs. The board is seeking your opinions. As the individual has threatened legal action, the board does not permit his request. That is not true. Yeah. Incorporating a camel is a wild sentence. Yes. Yes. Othor is saying hi, Sean. Well, hello. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. And he says the board is fearful that allowing such a breach of the CCRs will ultimately lead to further breaches, which is what happens in other areas of the community. It's imperative the association remain consistent in its decision-making process. It says the emergency meeting is scheduled for February 13th, 2015. That should have been an omen for you that you don't do it on Friday 13th. And they say, all residents to attend to obtain further information. Unfortunately, this may result in a legal situation that must be addressed and handled immediately. If you're unable to attend, please provide your opinion or vote that you feel appropriate. This is the special meeting here. This is the other page of it. So discussion regarding possible litigation that may involve additional legal costs and increased assessments. This meeting affects everybody, so submit your proxy forms so they know what's going on. And this is where you want to do things. You can vote yes to allow the display. And I'm assuming a lot of this is not correct, like the 900 cars and 80 volunteers. That's a ton of people. That's also a ton of people. I don't know if that's all true like that. Notice he said he brought in buses to eliminate that issue. But who knows at this point? It sounds like the HOA lied about a lot of it. Sweet Tooth says, why didn't you just hook up with his church and have the event there? He could also just decorate his house however he wants. Kathy, you're asking questions that are way too easy that they won't want to answer. They'll say, no, we want to do it this way. We want to do what we want. Because these guys are not gonna agree to that. That's why. Because he's not going to agree to it. That's how this works. 900 cars and an absurd amount of people. Well, it depends on is it actually 900 cars? They're saying it's 900 cars. That doesn't mean it is 900 cars. Is what I'm trying to tell you. So, 900 cars over. Well, it doesn't. Well, that's why I don't think that's correct. 900 cars in a day sounds insane. I don't think that's correct. I think that's probably 900 per the thing. And I can see 100, 200 cars coming by every day. That sounds a little more logical. Yeah, that's why I said there's no damn way it's 900 cars. But yeah, like it's just this is the way that, the jury apparently believed that this was all bullshit. So the jury said, these are all lies. They're all lies. Samuel Harmon says, I'm not sure a neighborhood road could handle 900 cars. Oh, I guarantee you it could. It's not like it was going to break down or anything like that. It's not like they were chewing. It's not like they were sending semi-trucks up and down the road. Like, it can handle that. It's engineered for that. Unless you were meaning it a different way, and I'm completely misunderstanding what you're getting at there. And I very well could be. I am an idiot at times. So. Oh. Sean just bust a move. Yes. All right. So we are. How many cookies can he bake in the course of 3? We're not. No, sir. We're not doing that. Jamie says 900 cars can be 4,500 people. Yeah, but I don't think like I said, I don't think that's all correct. 90 cars per day is 25 an hour, which isn't that much. That's like if there's a detour in the neighborhood and people have to go around, which would be fine. And that would make some sense. That would make some sense there. Let me see here. Spud gun for £9.99. Nearly 10 pounds sterling. The King Sterling. He says, Merry Crimbo to you. 2.0, the dogs and your family. All the best to you and yours. Thank you, Spug. And it's already Christmas time in Britain and in Europe. So Merry Christmas, everybody, over there in Europe, in Europeistan. And then Mega Mobass says, to cover the exorbitant pacer costs, I know it's hard on the streets of Ohio, especially being the sandwich man. Merry Christmas, Sean and chat. I'm just saying, it's like, damn, it's like when it's not on Court Listener, it's a pain in the ass because it costs money. Well, that's why, guys, I do go to Court Listener first to try to avoid costs. Thank you, though, for your super chat. It's 'tis the season, Batman, yes. All right, guys. So we are all caught up. Well, guys, I mean, we could kind of curious to know what you want to do. Is it time to do? You guys want to go over to the model channel? Do you want to do it here? What are you guys thinking? What are you guys thinking right now? What are you guys thinking? Time to stay up and wait for Santa. Yeah, that is an option. That is an option. Check NORAD. Yeah, we could check NORAD. I don't think Santa's up yet. And then NORAD for that's funny. If you type in NORAD right now, this is actually kind of funny. NORAD immediately goes to, if you just type in NORAD Santa Tracker. He's heading for Quebec, chat. He came up over the North Pole, chat. Just like the Russian bombers. He came up over the pole. Oh, no. Although he's already made his way to... Sorry, been to West Point? Oh, wow. He's doing a little early. Did he cross state lines? Yes. It's 5 a.m. in Belgium. Oh, hello, Fire and Ice. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your Christmas out there. Yes, he's delivered a very special shove to a very special Quebecois. He's visiting Warski and PPP. Yes, he's looking for Mama JF. He's got his thermal. He's got his FLIR looking forward down there. And JF's like, dear Santa, I wish for you not to find the potato. I hope you wish to help my friend Andy. But yes, he's heading for Radisson, Quebec. Okay. God, that's got to be... Yeah, this is like the wilderness. And if you guys didn't know this, when you're in Canada, very quickly, you are like, this area of Canada is like you could be in a plane crash and survive the crash and die from like starvation and exposure. They might not be able to find you. Like, it's a very it's wild country up there. He needs ground penetrating radar to find the potato. Yes. Smogan Mox says he isn't stopping anywhere. No, he's just cluster bombing the presents. So he has not made it to Ohio yet. He made it to college. He made State College, PA. Oh, wow. He's been all over the world. All around the world, around the world, around the world, around the world. Wow, look where he's been. He's already been to Alaska already, parts of it. So there you go, chat. Santa knows where you've been bad, and he knows where the bodies are buried, yeah. Do we know if the USS Gettysburg is stood down for tonight, Stephen Cooper? I get that joke. Stephen Cooper, the Gettysburg, if you guys aren't aware, is the cruiser that shot down the two F-18s out in the Straits of the Bab al-Mandab Strait off of Yemen. It shot down the two F-18s. Santa's avoiding Toledo. That foot guy creeps him out. Yeah. He's probably avoiding Dayton as well. He's heard enough from Mersh that he doesn't want to go there. It'd be hilarious if Santa uses EW to spoof every radar. I'm sure Santa's he uses magic. So of course he's using EW. He uses all kinds of electronic warfare. It's all things there. Erroneous Nomius says, how silly are you gonna feel when Mama JF shows up next year alive and well? You know, that'll be my cross to bear. That'll be my cross to bear at that point. Shinobubu says it's growler magic. Very funny, very funny. Yes, the Bob Elmondab. Yes, I completely. Yeah, I was like the straight horror moves. Like, nope, no, not right, Sean, not right. Mama JF is alive. Yes, Mama JF. Yes, you don't know, but I talked to Mama JF. She is alive and well in Israel. Oh, Santa gets engaged by the Iron Dome every year. Yeah. Yes, she is alive in the Holy Land. The Holy Land. Yes. Giving massages to Jeffrey Epstein. No, but funny thing enough, JF was involved with Jeffrey Epstein doing research for him. So, but yeah, Santa's on his way, guys. He is making his way across the eastern part of North America here. So, but yeah, I think we'll head over to the model channel. We'll hang out there and do some stuff, guys. I know there's 258 of you here. I will set that up real quick because that way, I don't know. Like I said, I tried to do stuff here and I don't know. Apparently just doing a little bit here made the YouTube algorithm crap itself. So Mama Jeff will emerge in the woods alive and well. She is not going to be. So yes. Flight Radar 24 as I'm at the coast of Newfoundland. Oh wow. Let's do some model stuff, chat. Ethan Ralph is Santa Bish, if you want to know the truth about it. All right, guys, we're gonna set this for 11:05. We're going to get that going here. So I'll see you guys right over there right now. In the meantime, chat, good night to everybody. Merry Christmas to one. Merry Christmas all if you're not going to join us over there. Remember, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. And yes, I think I do want to end on something here that I think is, a good place to end on. And yes, as J-Rex says, and they, having heard the king, departed, and behold the star that they saw in the east, went before them until having come, it stood over where the child was. Yes, and happy birthday, Jesus. It's a good day. It's a good day. And remember, guys, it's a good day to celebrate, even if things are not looking well for you. And we will be live tomorrow if you guys need a place to hang out. So I will see you guys tomorrow if you're not joining us. You see Santa fly over your house, do you scream? Yes. It's tax-free, bish! So anyways, chat, I will see you guys, and good night, chat. Good night.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. but please talk to a local attorney.